Well, wouldn't you know it, GameStop turned out to be one of the biggest rug pulls in history. Man, did I not call that one? Welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance. GameStop, the company that was going to have a MOAS. It was going to go to infinity and beyond, and all the investors in MOAS, Roaring Kitty, the genius, and everybody that associated with him and listened to him, we're all going to reach nirvana, the promised land. They were going to collapse Wall Street. They were going to enrich themselves and take back what was rightfully theirs. It was the retail rebellion. What actually happened with GameStop? Well, if we go back in the past during the clown market, please recall that GameStop was a dying company. And it still is. But there was this genius named Roaring Kitty who was such an amazing trader. And he had a thesis. He said, you know, GameStop, there's still some value here. I mean, yeah, they mostly have physical stores and, you know, they have constricting market share. But eventually they're going to do something to change the business. Maybe they'll focus more on online sales. They'll do something to change the course of GameStop. And that was his initial thesis. And you know what? I don't really have like anything negative to say about that. I mean, you know, he could have been right. And then the thesis changed to people are shorting this garbage company. So if I rally a bunch of retail morons to keep buying the shares, we can pump the price, force the shorts to cover, and make an absolute fortune. That was also a legitimate thesis, but it was also driven by basically a pump and dump scheme, where the early investors that bought the shares made the most money, and then all the clowns, the vast majority of them, piled in after the massive run-up and became bag holders themselves. But people still kept to the GameStop cult. They still believe, even to this day, there's plenty of morons out there that are still holding this company. They still believe that GameStop is going to be this new innovative company and that they have a bright future ahead of them. Most recently because Roaring Kitty, who I believe is a disgusting criminal and a fraud, kept pumping the stock. So what he would do, this is my suspicion at least, is he would buy a bunch of shares and calls, okay? Because he's such a good guy. He would buy a bunch of shares and calls. Then, knowing that he had a bunch of, power on the internet, that he had a bunch of, riz, that everybody would listen to him, he would then post random things on his X account. And people would start to speculate, oh my God, is Roaring Kitty, the genius, going to come out with another new GameStop thesis? And of course, people would then pile in. And Roaring Kitty knew this. People would pile in and it would massively skyrocket the value of his shares that he bought and the calls that he bought. Now, I don't know about you, but when somebody's literally pumping a stock, which they're doing it cleverly, okay? But they're literally pumping a stock, they get in early, they do something to push retail investor morons to buy in, and then they profit massively from that. I don't think that makes you a good trader. I don't think that makes you a genius. I think that makes you a disgusting pump and dump scammer. But people worship him somehow. But Roaring Kitty, he pumped the shares, probably made a fortune. I mean, I'm sure he'll pump it again and he'll be a billionaire next time. People will think he's a genius again. But he pumped the shares, and then GameStop did a massive dilution event. So Roaring Kitty got wealthy. GameStop was able to issue a ton of shares and generate a bunch of cash to put on their balance sheet. And then most of the retail clowns that piled in became bag holders. So it was basically a cash transfer from the pockets of retail investors into Roaring Kitty's and the company's bank vault. Now we're at a new inflection point because GameStop now isn't going to go bankrupt anytime soon. Because thanks to Roaring Kitty's pumping, his insane pumping, his degenerate pumping, and his self-enrichment, now that company has billions of dollars, I believe, on its balance sheet. So what is the final bright idea that GameStop decided to do? Because now the company, now the new bull thesis is GameStop has all this money, they're not going to go bankrupt. They can reinvent themselves. They could branch anywhere. They could become an investor in other companies. They have all this capital. The future is bright. What does GameStop decide to do? What is their brilliant idea? It's to buy Bitcoin. So all the theses behind the company turned out to be utter freaking nonsense. The initial thesis, oh, they're going to turn around, bro. The next thesis, oh, a lot of people are shorting this. We could generate a short squeeze. Then the thesis goes to, oh, now they have a bunch of cash, so they can become this like investment company that buys up all these other businesses. And now the thesis is Bitcoin. Does anybody else appreciate the level of failure and clownery that GameStop has devolved to, where we go from this like okay thesis to suddenly massive clown garbage buying of Bitcoin? All of that pumping, all of that self-enrichment by Roaring Kitty, and all of that cash that went from retail investors, most of whom I guarantee you lost money, into the bank vaults of GameStop. And now the money is being used to buy a freaking coin, a worthless coin that is a massive pump and dump scheme. Can anybody appreciate the delicious irony? And, you know, sickeningly enough, of course, all the frauds that are behind this that resulted in GameStop becoming basically a crypto clown fund, all the frauds that did this, that created this monstrosity, are worshipped. Roaring Kitty is a celebrity, even though he's scamming you. People think he's a genius. All the other clowns associated with it are geniuses. And you have this whole mentally ill segment of the population that is obsessed with this company. And no matter what the company does, and no matter how many times they get scammed and defrauded, they get worshipped. What kind of freaking clown world do we live in? So what do you guys think about GameStop basically becoming a freaking crypto fund now, okay? You know, it became this like passionate, you know, resistance to Wall Street and to the man. That's how it started out. Oh yeah, we're going to stick it to Wall Street. Most retail investors lost money because they piled in like morons at the very end of the pump. And now the company, after extracting all of this wealth from retail gamblers, is now going to use the money to buy a freaking crypto token. A worthless garbage crypto token. And I don't want to hear your freaking, it's not a garbage, it's a good crypto. It's all the same, you morons. It's all a pump and dump. The only reason Bitcoin is successful is because the marketing was better. That's all crypto is, a massive marketing scheme. And the better you market, the better you convince low IQ people to buy into it, the more successful your crypto is going to be. It doesn't matter what it's called. Poopy, shart, fart, Bitcoin, Ethereum. It's all one giant marketing game. Clowns. Anyway, what do you guys think? Do you think I'm full of crap? Do you think GameStop is still an amazing company? And do you think it's a beautiful initial roots have been corrupted? Or do you think I'm full of crap? Like, subscribe, check out the pinned comment, book a free 30-minute tax consultation with me. I am a certified public accountant. I will do your business and or personal taxes any state in the United States. You can talk to me for free. I give you upfront quotes, and I'll prepare your taxes like a boss. Cheers!